Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the 40 hadith, Imam Nawawi narrates a very important hadith from Ibn Abbas that the Prophet ﷺ told us, if people were given according to their claims, men would claim the wealth and lives of others. But the claimant must produce proof, and he who denies must swear an oath. This hadith was narrated in the collection of Al-Bayhaqi, and also the beginning of this hadith is found in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. This is a very important principle of organizing the Islamic society. Islam gives us these principles because they're the only way that we could have a world where there's justice and fairness, and which Islam is allowed and able to be lived as a whole way of life. If we do not organize ourselves on the small unit of our own lives and our own family and neighborhood and local Muslim community to the level of the entire world, then we're going to be forever lost in corruption and strife. Because the lack of justice causes all the wars and fitna, difficulties, strife, and harm which happen all around us in this world. And so it's our obligation as Muslims to try to teach people and spread to them these very important principles, because they're the only possible foundation of any successful society. Look around you in the world and see any society which has a measure of success, and you will find that it is engaging in the practice of some of these principles, at least in an imperfect way. A society which is just and fair, in which there is justice and fairness, is going to succeed in a worldly basis, even if they don't have the religion of Islam at all. And a society which is even a society where people are Muslims, at least nominally, they are Muslims, and yet there is no justice and fairness in the society, you're going to find that corruption spreads everywhere, and it leads to all kinds of problems, economically, politically, and the society will not advance, not in technology, not in economics. So it's one of the secrets of success, and it's the secret of success of a Muslim life, that we should understand these principles and try to apply them as much as we can in our lives. This principle you could sum up very easily. The innocent are innocent, a person who is accused is innocent until proven guilty. The Prophet gave us guidelines of how a court should be run and how evidence should be accepted in that court. First of all, Islamically, a judge is one of the most important members of a community. The judge must be an independent and qualified person who has independent knowledge of Islamic laws in detail, is qualified to give a judgment based on that knowledge, and does not have any pressure on him from political sources or other sources that will influence his decision. If there's bribery, if judges can be influenced and pressured through money, through threats or other ways, then the society is going to be totally corrupt. If people cannot find justice in the courts, then they will do other things to protect what they imagine are their rights, even if they are breaking the laws and committing crimes. And so it's very important that every Islamic society has a system of independent, Islamically qualified judges who are above bribery and corruption. Otherwise, the society will be guaranteed to fail. Seeking to influence judges, to influence the verdict, even if you are sure that you are on the right side, is a major sin and is not acceptable in any way. That may be doing favors for a judge, offering him money, or putting some type of pressure or threats on judges, and that is a serious offense, and it must be punished. And in fact, any incidence of bribery must be punished severely in any society. Otherwise, that society has no hope. When we have this system of courts, which is independent and which is based on Islamic knowledge, then there are procedures that have to take place in the court in order for the decision of the judge to be correct and to be fair. Because the judge is a human being who can make mistakes. And so he needs to have this guideline and follow it. First of all, in the court, there is a person who is making an accusation, who may be called the plaintiff. He's a person who wants to get something he imagines is his right. So I make a complaint in court about you. I claim that a particular property you own is really my property. I go to the court and say, that property is mine. First of all, according to this hadith, the person who makes the claim must provide evidence. The judge says, well, this person is living in this house. He says this is his property. Now you're coming to my court saying, no, it's actually my property. That person has taken it away from me in some way. Then you must provide evidence of what you are claiming. So does that person have a deed or a legal document? Can that person produce witnesses or other evidence of how this property was taken from him? Otherwise, it's simply a claim that is made. And so a judge cannot make a decision by seeing a person who comes into his court and making a claim unless that person brings proof. If a person simply comes and makes a claim, then the judge is instructed here in the hadith that what we should do is that if there is no proof, there is an Islamic principle which is called istishab al-hal, which is things remain the same until they're proven to be otherwise. So I cannot take away the property which is in the possession of that person. He's living in that particular house, and all the neighbors know that that is his house. And you have no proof that you own that property. He cannot take away that property and give it to you without that evidence. So if you make a claim in court, and you cannot bring evidence that clearly defies your claim, clearly proves your claim, what can you do? In this case, the accused has to take an oath. The accused has to swear before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he is telling the truth, that he is not lying. This is something that there are many examples from in Islamic law, found in the Quran, and found in the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The person who is being accused has to say that I call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as my witness on the Day of Judgment, that what I'm saying is true. And therefore the judge has to show him that you can't simply swear an oath and say, Wallahi, by God, this is the truth. If you do so knowing that you are lying, this is one of the major sins that you could commit. And that on the Day of Judgment, you are in danger, not only in the Day of Judgment, but in this life and in the hereafter, from punishment in hellfire, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish you even in this life for swearing a false oath. Obviously, having this system only works if we at least educate people from youth that they must follow Islamic injunctions. They must believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fear hellfire and desire paradise. If people don't have any fear of Allah in their hearts, then they will swear any oath and it won't make any difference. It's simply a ritual or a movement which has no meaning to people. So it's very important that these guidelines take place, not only according to the Islamic rules, but they take place within a society in which Islam is believed in and practiced. That's why it's not possible to truly maintain an Islamic system. Even perfect Islamic courts could not function in a society in which there was no da'wah, in which people were not being taught about Islam, which people did not have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It wouldn't work. Even this court system will not work if people do not have faith. And so we have to strive to spread faith and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hearts of the people in our society, wherever we may be. So sometimes a person is not able to prove his case. In this case, the judge will ask the person who is being accused to swear the oath, and that person will, inshallah, be truthful and swear and tell the truth. Or, if he's a God-fearing person, he will admit and confess that what the other person has said is accused. And so, the judge, if he's a person who is knowledgeable of Islam and is able to speak strongly to the accused and encourage him to tell the truth, even if that truth is harmful to him, that in the long run, telling the truth will be better for him in this life and in the hereafter. Inshallah, his words can hit home, can penetrate the heart of the person who has been accused rightly of doing something wrong, and that person will confess and he will refuse to swear the oath. The judge can then, of course, know the truth of the matter, even if there is not a clear proof in the case of the person making the claim. Sometimes, however, the person may wrongly swear an oath, and he may know that he's being accused correctly, and yet he will deny it in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this case, even the Prophet ﷺ was in this situation. And he tells us in a hadith found in Bukhari and Muslim, sometimes two of you come to me with a complaint and accuse each other, and one person is able to state his case with convincing arguments, and so I rule in his favor. But if I rule in his favor and he is wrong, then all I've done is give him the opportunity to go to hell by accepting that. So even if the judge rules in your favor and yet you know that you are wrong, you are not allowed to accept. So, for example, if he rules that this property belongs to you and it does not belong to you truly, you are not allowed to accept it, even if the judge offers it to you. You must refuse. Otherwise, as the Prophet ﷺ said, you are only accepting a gift of hellfire from that judge. And so, the judge must rule according to the evidence given to him, and is only responsible for Allah to judge as he has been instructed according to this hadith. وَجَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.
Oh